In schools all across Texas,
I pray tonight that as you guys are back there in that back room and you're making these decisions, that the faces of our children and their families are at the forefront of your mind.
dedicated teachers
School districts are being forced to make major cuts.
and panicked parents speak out in passion and frustration.
And I honestly feel like tonight we're holding a moment of silence for public education, and it's heartbreaking.
The state of public education in Texas is dire. We have educators leaving the profession. We have schools that are talking about closing in different parts of our state.
One of the largest budget deficits in the state, Houston Independent School District, where newly appointed Superintendent Mike Miles has called for dramatic cuts to offset a $450 million budget shortfall. Miles was appointed by Texas Education Agency Commissioner Mike Morath to take over and turn around the struggling school district last summer. 10 years before he took over at Houston ISD, Miles spent 3 years as superintendent at Dallas Independent School District. When he left Dallas in 2015, Miles started 3 charter schools in Colorado called Third Future Schools. According to both internal school records and the nationally recognized school rating agency School Digger, all 3 schools have since struggled with performance, enrollment, and finances. The records provided to us by TFS through open records requests also reveals Miles was forced to close one of his schools last summer due to declining enrollment, leaving that school with $5 million in unpaid bond debt. The school's debt was discussed at a Third Future Schools board meeting via Zoom last summer after Miles had taken over at Houston ISD. Yet there was Miles at the meeting acting as a consultant. According to payment records, Miles earned $40,000 consulting for TFS last year. Watch as Miles urges his old board of directors to find the money and pay the debt.
It's now becoming untenable. We'd have to subsidize it to the tune of maybe $500,000 a year if it only has 180 kids or so. I think the time is right to do what the administration is asking to do.
In 2020, around the time his financial troubles were beginning in Colorado, Miles began expanding his charter school network to Texas. First Midland Sam Houston Elementary, then Ector College Prep in Odessa, then Austin Mendez Middle School. But by the end of the 2023 school year, as he was taking over in Houston, Miles' 3 Texas schools were nearly $2.7 million in the red. So why were Miles' new Texas schools losing money? Third Future Schools' 2023 audit shows of the $25 million public tax dollars being spent on Miles' 3 Texas schools, $15 million was spent on teachers and supplies. The other $10 million, about 40% of the entire budget, was spent on unspecified administrative costs and services. Spectrum News made multiple requests over the course of several months for a detailed accounting of those administrative expenses. Third Future Schools never responded. However, included in publicly available financial audit records were the auditor's notes revealing that the deficits were documented as being due to other Third Future network schools outside of Texas and to Third Future Schools corporate in Colorado. Again, TFS Colorado declined to provide us with an explanation of why so many Texas public school dollars were being transferred to school operations in another state. And then we learned about this.
We've been supplementing that school with the general fund.
A conference call with Third Future Schools investors who were just learning about the deficits. Spectrum News requested and received from TFS an audio recording of that investors' call. In the recording, the TFS Chief Financial Officer, confirms the Colorado charter school deficit was being offset by the money coming in from their charter schools in Texas.
You know, whether they're in Colorado or whether they're in Texas or, you know, whichever state they're in. So that's assessed. And then if the specific school needs funding, then the network supplements them through the general fund.
The implication that the school funds from a Texas school was being transferred to help fund TFS in Colorado. Spectrum News obtained 2 checks for more than $1 million each from Miles Charter School in Odessa to Aurora, Colorado. Our attempts over the past 5 months to reach Miles for an explanation of the payments and a response to our findings have been unsuccessful. We were referred to Third Future Schools Executive Director Zach Craddock, whom we sent a 23-question list detailing our findings. Craddock declined to respond. We also shared our findings with former Texas State Representative and school finance expert Paul Colbert. Colbert says Texas public schools should not be spending more money than they take in, and definitely should not send Texas tax dollars out of state.
I was the budget chair of education for 8 years and research director of the Senate Education Committee for 5 years. And my understanding is that it is not legal in Texas for monies from a school district in Texas to educate students in other districts in the state, let alone in other states.
Once we hear more about this, you will hear more outrage.
Ovidia Molina, president of the Texas State Teachers Association, reviewed our findings and feels the evidence is alarming. She's calling on state lawmakers to conduct a formal investigation.
I don't know where it says that we can take our public school money and send it to another state. But if there is any place that says that, it's wrong and it needs to be changed.